love this show so much.
It's wild, and it's almost over.
Yeah.
It's a little bittersweet. I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, man, I'm gonna miss it, but I'm also like, let it end. Here we are with another Theory Thursday, only we didn't work on this one that hard. With the Pretty Little Liars finale coming out this coming week, we decided that it's time to, you know, hit that final buzzer, put in our last guess on who done it.
We were planning on doing like 5 theories, but they're like top 5 theories.
Like
but...
top 5 who may have done it.
Yeah.
But
like...
honestly, at this point, we have one guess, and we're cashing it in. So I encountered this theory first, before Rachel did, and I guess it's been around actually for like years now. People thought this person was A originally, and then obviously it was revealed that it wasn't. But there's a theory that Spencer has a twin, and her twin is AD. I'm going to talk about the motive first, and then we can get into all of the evidence that there is, because you're pulling stuff up.
Yep.
AD surfaces after Charlotte is murdered, and Charlotte was the original A, and AD's original purpose seems to be to find out who killed Charlotte. It seems to be their, like, end game. What they want to know is who killed Charlotte. They think that the girls did it. This would make sense for it to be Spencer's twin, because that would mean that it's Charlotte's sister, because it was revealed this season, right? Season 7, that Charlotte and Spencer are sisters, that they have the same mother. So that would be the motive right there, just trying to seek revenge for her sister.
Yeah. So there are quite a few pieces of evidence, and then there are a lot of theories with like backstory and motives, and it's like because Spencer was born in Radley, which is the mental hospital, to marry Drake, and if she has a twin, then like the twin was also born in the mental hospital, but Spencer was given to Mrs. Hastings like almost immediately.
And we see that. You see that scene of Spencer being handed off to Mrs. Hastings, and it's very clear that Mrs. Hastings didn't see Mary Drake. She wasn't in Radley when it happened, so you have no idea what happened inside the mental hospital. You don't know what was going on with Mary Drake. You just know that she had a baby and that a baby was handed off to Mrs. Hastings.
Yeah. She was born in Radley, and she was brought up in Radley, not because she was, like, psychologically, like, damaged or whatever, but, like, she just as a form of daycare because, like, Mary Drake was deemed to be an unfit mother, which is kind of a weird thing to go into because you think they would just put her in, like, foster care or something, but it's kind of another thing is that, like, she grew up in the hospital, or, like, another theory that she grew up in the hospital, and so she's jealous of Spencer and all of her friends, and she just wants to have that life, and she wants to tear Spencer and her friends apart, like, all of that.
And it's all very, like, book-themed, like, twins in the book. I heard a theory that it was Spencer's twin, and that Spencer's twin was adopted, and she was in a different town, and that she was actually friends with Sarah Harvey. And that's how she got involved.
Let's get into the evidence and the proof. So there's that one scene in season 7, episode 15, where Ben and Spencer are talking in an airport, and they just like run into Ezra.
Some lighting adjustment. I remember watching that scene the first time, and something about it felt off, and I couldn't place what it was. It was just, it didn't fit at all with what was happening in the show. Yeah. At that point.
It was just so random.
It was so, like, the scene before, Spencer had been so distressed and, like, freaking out about Mary Drake and all of this other stuff, and concerned about what was happening with Archer Dunhill and all of this stuff. And then suddenly she's in an airport with Ren talking about who killed Cece, which was always AD's motive. AD wanted to know who killed Cece, but it didn't seem to be a concern of the liars at all.
Yeah.
Who killed Cece. Like, they were like, yeah, like...
Aside from the fact that they were the ones being
Yeah.
accused for it, so they wanted to know so that they could, like...
But it wasn't their top priority
Yeah.
during this season. It was very much, like, figuring out what to do about the Duncan situation. And everything about that scene felt weird.
Yeah, and then Spencer asks Ezra not to tell anybody that he saw her there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why?
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 Yeah.
The whole scene is just why. It doesn't make any sense.
A very strange scene. The doctor who delivered Spencer spoke to Spencer and said that he had dealt with 2 of Mary Drake's babies. He didn't say both of Mary Drake's babies. He didn't say you and your sister. He said, I dealt with 2 of Mary Drake's babies, which implies immediately that there was another Drake child, and it wasn't just Spencer and Cece.
And there's Hannah's dream.
This one...
Oh, goodness.
This one got to me. This one got to me. Because you watch that scene, and the first sign of it is that none of the dream sequences like that before have been dreams. They've all been real. So, like, you saw this a lot with Allison in the early seasons, where Allison would appear to the girls in a dream. And, like, something had happened to them, they were in some state of shock, and Allison showed up, and then they were like, oh, I had a dream, and Allie was there. Mm-hmm. And so we saw a lot of that in the show, and then to have that happen to Hannah, where she's in a state of distress, she's being held captive, and she sees Spencer. And the Spencer who she sees, the first thing is that her hair is different. She's not Spencer, because Spencer, 5 years later, Spencer has the straight across bangs, and she has old Spencer's haircut in the dream. What it is she asks Hannah if Hannah lied when Hannah confessed to killing Charlotte. And there would be no reason for that to happen in Hannah's dream. Hannah knows that Spencer knows that she lied. So why would Spencer ask her, did you lie?
Yeah.
Like, she knows that it was a lie. So it kind of seems like maybe it was not a dream and it was real, and that maybe Spencer's twin showed up and asked Hannah if she lied, and when Hannah confesses that she didn't kill Charlotte, but she wishes that she knew who did, and then suddenly Hannah goes free.
This thing exactly says, it makes no sense that Hannah was able to dream Spencer saying the name AD since Hannah was kidnapped before these initials were even revealed. Like, I understand that it's like AD is Allison De Laurentiis' like initials, but it was never coined as like, this is AD messing with us now. Like, that wasn't an actual thing when the dream happened.
It could be true that AD needs to stand for something and that this twin's name starts with an A and it's A. Drake.
Yeah.
Or it could just be Allison De Laurentiis.
Yeah.
A stood for Allison. Why shouldn't AD stand for Allison De Laurentiis?
Before 7B aired, so like the second half of season 7, Tyler Blackburn said that we've never met AD, but we like kind of have, and we'll know what he means when we know who it is.
You've never met AD, you kind of have. So you've kind of met AD, but you haven't prior to 7.
If it's Spencer's twin, and we see her, we just think it's Spencer. So, like, we haven't actually met her, and if we've seen her, we just think it's Spencer. The scene in season 4, episode 23.
That's why I made your sister promise that she would never bring up that incident that happened before she left for school.
What incident? Mom. What incident?
Allison.
Sorry, Mrs. Hastings. I was just cutting through to use our back door. It's, past my curfew. What happened?
Nothing. I'm just, I'm cleaning up.
Did Melissa and Spencer have one of their fights?
I know what crazy scissors when I see one.
Allison, please. Not tonight.
Look, I can stay and help you clean
I
up.
don't want your help. Just... I want to understand this, and I can't. What is happening to her? Why is she acting like this?
I wish I knew. But if I ask her, she might turn on me.
Go home, it's late. Your parents are probably worried. You don't remember any of this? Right.
I have a big problem with any evidence about Spencer's twin prior to season 7 or season 6 because of the fact that you get into that stuff of Spencer having these mood swings and missing memory and all of this stuff, and there is an explanation for that, and it's that Spencer was on drugs.
And then in that scene, though, there's that one line that Mrs. Hastings says.
It was as if there were two of you living in this house. The Spencer we recognize and your evil twin, and we never knew which one was coming down to breakfast.
I've heard people try to disprove it by being like, it doesn't make sense for Spencer to have been switching back and forth with a twin, and I believe that.
Yeah.
But Marlene King has been known to leave hints in other lines, whether characters know that they're leaving a hint or not.
Yeah.
So, when Mary first meets Spencer, she comes to the Hastings house, and she comes into the house and is talking to Spencer, and this is before anything is revealed about Spencer being related to her. And Mary is looking around the house, and there's a picture of Spencer and Melissa. And Mary picks up the picture and comments that she looks so much like her sister, almost like twins.
Yeah.
Marlene said that the person who plays AD has known for a while, and Troyan said that she knew the ending of the show years in advance, that Marlene had sat her down and told her everything. Yeah. You really have to think about how Spencer has gotten so much more this season than anyone else has. Like, full-on attack towards Spencer that none of the other girls have gotten. Like, her family has just been destroyed. And that raises the question, is AD angry at Spencer?
Because everything is happening to the Hastings.
No one else's family is so heavily involved.
Yeah.
The way that Spencer's family is.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't seen Arya's parents. We don't know what's going on with them. Ashley Marin comes in and out. The Fields are nowhere. But it keeps coming back down to the Hastings.
Keegan said there were no more Spoby kisses in season 7B.
And yet, there was some serious Spoby action. There was a lot happening between Spencer and Toby.
So either Keegan lied or it wasn't Spencer. And you know what? I've thought about it. Like, that scene, I remember watching the scene and being like, this is weird. I'm pretty sure that's the same scene. Like, when Toby says, that's not the Spencer I know. I'm pretty sure it's the same scene in when, like, she comes in to the cabin and they kiss and everything.
And I figured that you'd be in Rosewood keeping tabs on Tanner's case.
What's going to happen is going to happen.
That doesn't sound like the Spencer I know.
No surprise.
The whole scene is so off to me.
It's somebody that you've seen. This is something that has been around a lot, that Marlene has said a lot of things about. It's someone who you've seen. It's someone who you've seen from the beginning. Like, there's a lot of suggestion that this character isn't unfamiliar to you. Yeah. And that it's someone who's been here since the beginning. Twins is a really big theme in Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah.
Which is another notable thing because having twins can be genetic. Like, if you are a twin, you're more likely to have twins, and twins run in families. So the fact that Mary Drake herself is a twin means that the potential for her having a set of twins is
very
higher.
likely.
Yeah. There's a lot there. There's a lot of potential happenings. I think that it's seriously possible, but the thing with this show is that there's so much information that there's no way to know for sure. There's a lot of crazy stuff that I've been trying, like, really trying to look into and figure it out, and I, as much as I think that this is true and this is my best guess at it, I have no idea, because I've spent the last couple of weeks really looking into this and being like, who is it? Who could it be? Looking into stuff that Marlene said, where she said that the new AD took over after Charlotte died, and that, like, that it wasn't this person before at all. So trying to look into that, but then it's also been said that this person has been around for a long time, that we've seen them before. There's so many things that happen that are central to Spencer in her plot, and I feel like there's so much stuff that if you're really to suggest that Spencer's switching back and forth with the twin, you have to instead suggest that the twin has taken Spencer's life.
Yeah.
And it isn't Spencer at all, and it hasn't been all season.
That's the only explanation, because otherwise it's like, where's Spencer if they're just switching back and forth? And that would almost mean that Spencer's in on it, and I don't think that's possible at all.
There's a lot of references back to Spencer's memory gaps in earlier seasons, but current Spencer has not made any implication that she is forgetting things or that stuff is missing. People aren't saying things to her, and she isn't responding with, I don't remember that happening. And you're not seeing that behavior from Spencer. The only odd behavior from Spencer are in those couple of scenes, the Spopey kiss, the airport, where you're kind of like, this doesn't feel like Spencer. Something feels off here.
It's my favorite theory, and I'm pretty convinced that that's what's happening here.
I think it's the strongest contending theory, definitely.
For sure.
That of everything that people have said about who it might be, I think Spencer's twin is the strongest, like, this is who's actually running the show right now. Ready for this show to be over. Ready to be done.
Yeah.
But, you know, as soon as it ends, I'm gonna rewatch the whole show.
Oh, yeah.
And look for everything that I somehow missed.
We've already been rewatching it. Just trying to piece it together, and it's not possible.
Tune in on Monday for another video.
Yay!
Bye.